friends. This is Amy with the Hudson Valley Knits podcast. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 9, Snow Day. So, I have a lot of works in progress to show you this week. No finished objects. I'm almost done with my Against the Current shawl, but one row left, so it still doesn't count. Let's see. So I do have a little stash enhancement that came in the mail that I'm really excited about. And I have a little bit of just administrative stuff, some details on the gift along, knit along with the prize coming up, and my washcloths for seniors drive. So let's get started. All right, so work in progress. So this week I primarily worked on my Against the Current shawl, which is, I swear to God, I have one wrong side row left to knit and then bind off, but I just couldn't get it done today. So I can't count it as a finished object, and I can't really show you it off the needle even unblocked, but next week you will see it unblocked and blocked and finished. But here it is. I mean, and I got my new lights, my Christmas present from my husband, and he just spent the past 20 minutes setting them up downstairs here in the living room so that you can really see everything nice. Here's my Against the Current shawl. Let me just stretch out a little piece. So here's the border part, and here's the body part, but now you can really see the beautiful colors and the worn denim colorway for Madeline Tosh. Isn't it gorgeous? You see all the blues and greens. It's like water. It's like fresh water, and it's just gorgeous. So next week, I promise this will be done. It's going to be this is the supersized version. I think I mentioned before, this is this is a pattern of my creation that I knit a couple of years ago. Here's it from the other side. For my sister Lisa for her birthday. And Lisa is an avid swimmer, and she actually lives right along the water in upstate New York, and it was just totally inspired by these things to make it for my sister. And for a number of years, I've wanted to write it up. I just didn't know how to write up a pattern, really. I did make up the charts for myself when I knitted it for my sister, so I had the charts done. Although I have to say, I'm glad I made another one before I sent the pattern in, because I did find some mistakes, and I did make one little change in the chart so that this would work well with one or two skeins. The first one I made, which was for my sister, I was hoping it would be less than one skein, but I ended up having to use a second skein of Lorna Lace's Soulmate just for a couple of rows, but I made her a pair of socks with the rest, but still. So one of the things I did with this pattern is I made it so that you can make a shawlette with one skein, or you could make a really nice cozy shawl with two skeins. And I also added, so when I made the one for my sister, I kind of ended it kind of right where you see here, so this far down, right about there, and oh, excuse me, right there. So what I did is I added a basic I don't know if there's a word for the stitch pattern, but it's where you have the knits two together, right here, and then you have all the yarn overs over here, so that this will pull out a little, and you'll kind of have the pointy edges. So what I did, I figured out about how many grams I was using a row. And then I basically just was able to use up almost all of my yarn. I have this much left. It's about 40 grams left. and I'm not going to worry about it. It's plenty big enough, but you could use all your yarn if you want, or you could not use all your yarn. So I leave it up to the person making the project. So I'm really excited about this. So next week you will definitely see this blocked, and I hopefully during this week I will also finish up writing the pattern. I'll make the few corrections to the pattern that the charts rather, and I'm going to add the extra chart for the kind of extra border, the border that's kind of like your choice to do or not to do, and then send it to the tech editor. So if you have volunteered to test knit for me, I will be in contact with you as soon as I get it back from the tech editor, and I'm thinking it might take her a little more time because, oh, and it's not written instructions. I've thought about it, and I'm not going to do written instructions, just the charted instructions for this, because it's too much work, and basically I can't believe that anybody that knits lace like this doesn't know how to read a chart. Alright, so that's taken up like 80% of my knitting time this week, but I did do a little bit of knitting on the Carson throw. It looks like a hat now because I have it on small. Oh, it smells like lavender too because it came in the bag. I have a lavender sachet in the bag. I wanted to ask you people, I was watching the Mustache podcast today, and they were talking about problems they had with Eco, and they think it might have been that it was sliced when they opened the box. But I had a little problem with this. If you look inside, when I was knitting this, it keeps like breaking, like it's like super weak in spots, like almost like it wasn't spun. Here's another spot where it did it. And I'm wondering if anybody else had this kind of problem with Cascade Eco. I love this yarn, and I love the big skeins, and I love knitting with it, but I just don't know if it's me or just this one skein. I haven't knit enough with it to really know. So, yeah, if you've had that problem, let me know in the threads, in the group. This is a wonderful in front of the TV knitting, and like I said last week, this is a great way if you're away from your iPad or wherever it is you're tracking your project. I keep track of my rows on here and like where I need to go to get to the next change when I have a project like this where I'm counting rows and it's a simple pattern. So yeah, this is the Carson throw. I've done about 2 inches on this since you last saw it. So this is just a slow and easy project. When it's done, it's done. And it's in my Joanna Springs bag, which I love. And so that is that. I have a special one to show you at the end though. So Joey's socks are coming along a lot slower this time around because I have been knitting on the shawl mostly, but here, you know, we're just past the cuff. Basically, the only time I spend knitting on this is when I am waiting for my coffee pot to finish brewing and stuff. So here it is. And this is just a plain vanilla socks knit with the Patons Croy. And in case you didn't see it in the last episode, here's one that's finished. I love the way they came out. The stripies weren't matching, so I went through a lot of jumping through hoops to match this one, the second one with this one, but I think I got it. It might be a little off, but that's okay. So, Patent Croy. Unfortunately, my local Joann Fabrics doesn't have a huge selection of Patent Croy. So, and I'm not going to order online and pay the shipping, so that's that. Again, not much progress on the Cambio cowl, but I did do a few rounds, so I'll show you that. It's coming along. This will go a lot quicker now that Against the Current shawl is done. I'll be working on this a lot more because, like I said, I want to be able to give it to my sister soon. It was supposed to be a Christmas present, so Cameo cow. I can't wait till the colors start changing and you see how beautiful it looks. I love this pattern. I love these kits. So last week I had mentioned that I was going to start on New Year's Day a knit along with Donna Drakunis's pattern called the Event Horizon shawl, which is a pie shawl, and it's in her Stories and Stitches 2 book, which came out recently. Ooh, this is so gorgeous. So here it is. I'm in the lightest color right now, and this is my first pie shawl. You can see the details here. There's like the starting rounds are just, you know, basic pie shawl formula, and then we went to like a little diamond pattern, and then this is what she calls the second circle, and notice the lifeline. I've never ever knit anything lace with a lifeline before, but I do now. So I'm about to start the third circle pattern, which is done twice, which will take it. This is where it will start to get really big. So this is coming along, and again, I knit on it like pretty solidly on the New Year's Day, but I made some mistakes. And I had to rip back. One was a silly mistake. They were both silly mistakes, but one was she gave directions. She said one row, she said knit one yarn over all the way around, increasing to 144 stitches. And then she says in the next row, decrease evenly to 140 stitches. So I'm like, oh, I'll just do that all in one row. And I just left out, or I just knit 2 together 4 times around in my knit 1 yarn over round, not thinking that I'm also skipping a yarn over. So really when I finished, I had 136 stitches and I should have had 140. So I tinked it and I redid it correctly, and then this second circle pattern, I had to rip back once, and I had to tink like 3 rows because I was off and I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't notice I was off right away, and that's when I knew I had to start using a lifeline. So after each circle I'm going to put in a lifeline. But I'm loving this. I'm really super excited about, but it's definitely work you got to pay attention to, and it's definitely meant to be like an heirloom piece. So that's the Event Horizon shawl by Donna Drakunis, and I love it. So that's it with the whips, and like I said, no finished objects for knitting, but I do have some spinning. I had the spinning meetup group today, and the lovely ladies at my spinning meetup group took the time, shoot, it's still in the machine, okay, to teach me how to, I'm sorry, hold on, Navajo ply or chain ply, whichever you want to call it. So I had this, I still have a little bit left because I ran out of time, but this is some really inexpensive, I think it's merino, but I got it in a trade. There was no label on the bag. So the person I traded with told me it's superwash merino. So that being said, I decided to use this to learn how to Navajo ply. And here it is. I'm going to take it off. I got to dust my... Oh, I really need to clean this too. I've been bad. I'm not taking care of this. Take this off. All right. So here it is. I didn't do a great job, but you know, it was my first time. It's gonna fall. Oops. Falling bobbins. But if you look closely, I my yarn is bunched up in a lot of places. I'm trying to find a good example. Here's one right here, actually. So if you look at this, and you can see like it's bunched up there. Let me see if I can get the light good. What I was doing was when I was pinching it to keep the twist from coming up and pulling out a new loop, I was pushing down with the other hand, and I didn't realize I was doing this, and it was making it bunch up in spots. There's another big one where you can see they're all the plies are bunched up. But I figured out what I was doing, and I think I learned it really well for the first time anyway. And yeah, the next step is to, it's really squishy. So I'm going to let this sit a day or two, and I am going to soak this, and I have a couple of other skeins that need to soak, and yeah, it will be my first chain ply skein. So I'm excited. I'm loving learning all I am about spinning, and yeah, but while I was waiting for the spinning meetup, because I knew I would need the help of the lovely ladies there at my spinning group, I did start spinning some Targhee, which originally, and I don't know a lot about fibers, so I went to Facebook, because I have a friend on Facebook, and she's in my knitting group, even though she lives on the other coast. And I don't know if you remember, I met someone from California before Rhinebeck. She flew in for business, and she was looking for someone to have dinner with the night before Rhinebeck, so I did meet with her, and she's an amazing spinner, and she actually, so I told her I wasn't having any luck with doing Targhee long draw, and she basically said try short draw and then put more spin into it. And yeah, so this is what I got. It's the first ply. I'm just trying to get it without a shadow here. I guess I gotta mess with these lights a little more, but Honey's upstairs, so I can't. All right, but I like the way it came out in the end, and I split it in half. First I stripped it, and then I made it into little strips about this size, because I did get it in a trade, and it's rather matted. So here, you can see it's rather matted, and it's really, you can see here, it's almost a little felted. So yeah, I got it in a trade, so what am I going to do? And I'm using it more or less to practice again, so but I think after this I'm ready to start using some of the really nice fibers I've gotten, like at Rhinebeck and whatnot. So that's my spinning progress. And what else do I have? Oh, so I kind of have a new to the queue that I can't really show you because it's only on Instagram right now, but a woman I follow on Instagram, her name is Amelia_Put, and you should follow her because she posts beautiful pictures up on Instagram. She designed herself a pair of socks, and I'm not sure if she meant to design a pattern like and publish it, but she's like was very excited, and she posted it, and I loved them, and I'm like, Amelia, I want to make these socks. Let me know when you publish the pattern. She goes, I don't know how to do that. Would you test knit for me? And I said, sure. So she said early this coming week she would send me the pattern. So I will be test knitting for her. I'll have to ask her if she minds if I show you the progress as I go along, but I'm excited about it, and I think I'm going to actually use some of my Dream in Color Smushy with the cashmere in it for it. I have a skein of that in red, and I think it'll look beautiful. But check her out on Instagram. Her name is Amelia_Put, P-U-T. And, oh, one more thing. I have some new stash. And then I'm just going to go and I'm going to talk to you about my 2 knit-alongs. So I ordered from Kate Davies online shop. Look, I have the bag. Yeah. And I ordered the pattern for her Tati Hati, which is the hot water bottle cover. And it's going to be for my mother-in-law. And I guess it doesn't need to be a secret anymore. I ordered it before Christmas, but I didn't get it until just this past week, after New Year's. Here's the colors I chose. And I love them. They're gorgeous. Jameson and Smith, which you can't get here in the United States. You can just get Jameson here. So it came with the bag. I didn't realize it was coming with a hot water bottle, but it's a good thing because it's extremely tiny. She calls it a hand warmer, actually, but I'm so glad she included it because I would have been kind of annoyed if I had to go hunt for a special size hot water bottle. And this is how the pattern came. So it came in this nice envelope with a cardboard back so it wouldn't bend. And I don't want to give away the pattern, so I'll just hold it up. But it's really nicely done. You know, there's just the, oops, there's the, sorry, God. I made a photocopy at work. I didn't realize that you would see it. But just you can see how it's written up, and it's nice quality paper, and it's just done really classy. So very, very well done, and I'm very excited to knit this up. I'm not sure when I'll do it, to start it, maybe after I finish the test knit socks. But looking forward to making this for my mother. So that's what's new in my stash. That's it this week. And I am expecting the December World Club from Blue Moon Fibers. It's coming a little late because the owner was in a car accident and she's recovering. She's okay, but she needed time to recover. So the December club shipments came out late, which I did order. I ordered November and December. So I'll get those in a couple of weeks, whenever she gets around to it. It's certainly understandable. No big deal. All right, so now administrative stuff. First of all, I called it Snow Day because it's been a really crazy week here, weather-wise, in New York. I am like an hour north of, no, not even an hour. I'm like 40 minutes, 45 minutes north of New York City if you drive. About 50 minutes if you take the train. I think it's like 35 miles. And so I didn't have the worst of the Northeast. People, there, if you go a little further north, even like where my family lives up in upstate New York, they had it a lot worse. We got, I worked from home on Thursday and Friday because I was afraid to drive into work. I have a little Prius and it does not do good in the snow. So my boss is really good about me working from home under those circumstances, so I did. Thursday wasn't too bad, but it was like icy rain. And then Friday, forget about it. We woke up Friday morning and our kitchen pipes were frozen. So basically the main house, I live in a very old house. It was built in 1836 and it's brick. And the walls are plaster. There's no insulation. It's just plaster and brick, the outside walls, and they're solid. And down in the basement, the main basement where the furnace is brick. The kitchen, however, was added many years after the original house was built. And I shouldn't say that. But anyway, it was built by the family that I bought the house from. Their mother died. She was in her 90s, and they're actually friends of the family. And they added this kitchen on. And it was basically a family construction job back before there were permits and regulations for building. You know, if it was your house, you built on it if you wanted to, right? It's your house. So The foundation under my kitchen is basically piled up rocks with cement, and it gets really cold over there. Even though under the kitchen floor we have insulation, it's still, you could feel the cold. Plus, there's an outside basement door there that lets in a lot of cold air. So we have the hot water pipe coming in to go to the kitchen sink, and it's very close to the outside wall, the cement rock wall. And for the first time ever since I've owned this house, it froze. So I got up Friday morning and I couldn't run the hot water. So I woke my husband up, who he's a classically trained chef, but he went back to chef school. He went to the CIA when he was 35, I think. He later in life, he got tired. He was a plumber before that. So I'm like, honey, you gotta go down and check out the pipes. It's frozen. And he went downstairs and he basically, and don't you do this because it's very dangerous. If you don't know what you're doing, you could burn your house down. He has a little torch that he used to thaw it out. And then we put a little space heater down in the basement to keep, because we had -4 degrees the night before. And even with the furnace on, it just got so cold in that part of the basement. And we actually have a door blocking that part of the basement off from the other half of the basement where the furnace is. So it probably just didn't get warm enough under there. Long story short of it, it happened again the next night. We couldn't get the insulated pipe covers because Home Depot had sold out. And so we had to do the same thing, a repeat of that on Saturday morning. But tonight, thankfully, it's like in the 30s, so it's going to be much warmer tonight, and we probably don't have to worry about it. So that's why the snow day. I ended up having to take an emergency day off from work on Friday because I had to go do the Home Depot run for my husband. He actually did have to replace a couple of pipes, but luckily they're easy to get to because you have full access under the kitchen, and you can stand up in there. And then he had to redo the faucet up here in the kitchen. So he and I both had to call in sick Friday and fix that. And then when we finished around 3 o'clock or so, I don't know, but we both took a hot shower, and took a poca siesta because we were tired. So anyway, it's getting like, now it's supposed to be in the 40s here, so it's just crazy weather, crazy weather. But I'm thankful that I have a warm place to sleep at night, I'll tell you. 2 things really quick, and I'll just the gift along knit along is ending on Wednesday. That's the 8th. I'm going to lock the thread for the finished objects, and I will draw the name, and I'll announce the name on the next podcast next week when I record on Sunday. And so that will be the end. So here's your last chance to post pictures of your gift recipients wearing their gifts. The other thing I wanted to mention now that that's pretty much done is I am doing what I'm calling a love along. So this is basically a knit along where we're all going to knit washcloths, and they will be collected and given out to seniors living in homes in my area where I work through the Salvation Army. So it's the the love along for seniors, and the hashtag, which I will put in the thread, is going to be SR for senior, and then love a long, all written out. So if you are going to start a project with a washcloth, or you're going to post it on Instagram, if you could use that hashtag, that would be awesome, so we can see them all together. And I will set up a thread for finished objects, and I will also put all the official everything for it on the chat thread, and I'll like stick it to I'll stick it to like the top. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm really excited. I ordered some cotton yarn off of eBay from Susan B. Anderson. She was selling, I saw it on her blog that she was selling a whole bunch of beautiful colored cottons from some little toddler hats she was designing, and she had all this extra, and she was selling it at a really great price. So I scapped some of that up, and I now have all the cotton I need to make. I have enough to make 2 a month, so I'm not promising I'll do that. I'm shooting for 1 a month. That's what I'm like. That's the commitment I'm making to myself. But I can do more than 1 if I want to. So I'm really excited that I was able to get that cotton at such a great price. Because I'm not a big fan of the peaches and cream that you get at Joann's. I don't think it's soft enough. And then my other thought was I was going to do the Knit Picks, which is I think $3.99, super soft, and actually you probably get more yarn from them. But I ended up getting the yarn from Susan B. Anderson, so I'm really thrilled about that. And that, my friends, is it. I just want to end this by saying thank you so much for watching my podcast. It really means a lot to me that you all are watching. I appreciate any reviews and stars that you can give me on iTunes. And if you think anyone else would enjoy the podcast, spread the word and join the group. And I also wanted to say, if you, it does cost me some money to do the podcast. I have to pay for hosting and whatnot, and but it's my joy. I'm not complaining. But if you do want to help support it, I do have one pattern for sale, and you can check out my Ravelry shop. And if you want to contribute, just buy the pattern. It's a good way. It's $5, and you get a pattern, and I get some help towards my expenses. So thank you again, and that's it. Ciao, ciao for now.